Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shady.
Shade in the City.
I'm your girl Treese,
It's Nels.
and today we're jumping into our review of The Bold and the Bougie. Okay, I believe this is called Damage Control. It is season one, yeah, episode 4, and so we start off the episode. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I'm ready to jump into the episode. That's how ready I am. Yeah, if you haven't hit the like button already, please do so.
And that subscribe button.
And let's get into the intro first, and then I'll get into the episode. And let's get shady. We see our good girl Crystal, right? And she, dismisses herself from this conversation with Dr. Princess before she decides to get activated. Malaysia comes to see what's going on. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. What's happening? What's happening? I don't know. I turned my back for 1 second. And I'm just so, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm not going to lie to you. And I know you're going to disagree with me. And I knew we was going to tussle. This show does not, in my opinion, doesn't make Malaysia look good. Like I think I liked her better on
First
basketball.
of all, let me say this. You know I like Malaysia,
I know. That's why I said it.
but you know I like Crystal.
Right.
So in this scene, no.
Yeah. It doesn't.
I,
I don't know. It is terrible because
I
I'm like,
wasn't here for Malaysia.
it's so funny because I'm like, oh my God, Carlos created a whole show around you, and you still look bad. And no, I'm not trying to be because like I feel like when we watch Basketball Wives or like we didn't review it then, but
I
like
have never seen Shawnee look like be in a bad light.
right, that's what I'm saying. So I was
Even when people are coming at her.
right, that's what I'm
Look,
saying.
look. Thank you for your services.
Right, that's what I'm like. It's not till recently that we see Shawnee being painted, and that's really off the scene. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I was just like, wow, Malaysia. I don't know. I just on this particular show, I do like Malaysia. There's no Malaysia beef or hate here. It's just on this particular platform, she, in my opinion, she doesn't show up well. Y'all can tussle with me in the comments, but she doesn't. Um. So anyway, basically Crystal's going off how Dr. Princess came at her, tells Malaysia she's done for the night and will call her tomorrow. I said respectfully. Then Malaysia goes inside to check on Dr. Princess, and she says that Dr. Princess says that she was offended because she was called weird and aggressive. Now, the aggressive part didn't bother me. This is my notes, y'all. I'm reading it to y'all as I'm writing it. Well, it didn't bother her either. It was the weird. But I said, well, when did the weird happen? Because when we see the playback, I never heard the weird. Did anybody else? Don't worry, I'll wait.
We all waiting for the playback.
Or are you just waiting for a moment? No, they played the playback.
No, no, no. Crystal told her she can't wait for her to see the playback. We waiting. We waiting
And
for her
no,
to see
but
the
they
playback.
played it in the show.
No, I know they played, but Crystal is telling Malaysia, I can't wait for you to see the playback.
Right.
So I can't look. That's what I'm waiting on. Because all
So
this energy that you knew it had to be Crystal. Let me go on,
so
go on, girl.
so then when Malaysia tries to get the order of events and how things happen, we see Crystal, not Shad, ever called Dr. Princess weird. Like neither one of them, nor neither one of them. However,
And they were like joking about like her energy a little bit,
right.
and then
Like, oh, you
she
come off a little aggressive. She was like, yeah, I could be a little aggressive. Like she received it. Because
and
I
she's the one that said, "But you know, I was gonna say something to you. You know, I thought she was a little loose."
so
That's when things were left. But she made it seem like she was retaliating.
right. So my notes say, however, Malaysia chooses to believe Dr. Princess's version of the story because she feels Crystal came in with the attitude. And I said, I I'm gonna be honest. I really am trying to ride for Malaysia, but it's hard.
Then Tameka's friend of 28 years, Kim Ann, came over to, see her, see the progress of the house. Apparently, this is going to be her podcast co host. And she's gonna host a live
The
podcast.
name of the podcast is Here I Stand. I said she really Usher is gonna give her a run for her money. Or maybe she's entitled to it at this point. I don't know.
After we figured out that Usher has a song named Here I said, you know what, I can't do this piggyback, and I can't do it. So basically, yes, this woman is gonna be her
Maybe she gave him the
co-host.
idea for the song.
You
And
said
she
what?
maybe she gave him the idea for the song. And she.
Weren't they broke up long before that song came out?
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. So yeah, she's gonna be a co-host on the live podcast. She said she's holding it during Friendsgiving. And she's gonna invite all the ladies over. I was in shock by this because we know she could be a little nitpicky in who she likes and who she want there. And the ladies, don't know what to think about this text invite that they received. What's up?
Now, as content creators ourselves, we ain't gonna lie to you. We've tried to think that we're gonna do something or record something with other people over. And I can tell you out of 9 out of 10, we've probably been successful 3 out of 10 times.
But especially if they don't know that they're supposed to be a studio audience.
Right. But that's why I say we understand it, because we'll make plans in our heads as content creators. We'll be like, oh, we're just gonna let the kids upstairs and play, and we're gonna do this and get this done. And then we start
Well,
chilling.
we still know, like, yeah, it usually don't happen though.
Right, that's what I'm saying. People might start coming over. We get distracted. The reality situation is when we try to sit down and we think about it, like, oh, we're gonna do this podcast. That's way beyond us because we're entertaining. I didn't think this was a good idea. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Unless you let the people know what they were coming for, and because we never let
And
anybody.
she didn't because she didn't think they would show up.
Right.
So then Crystal, she went shopping because, she said, I'm outside, boo. I ain't married no more. I ain't got to cover up no more. And you know what? I like Malaysia style. So I'm gonna help her, I'm gonna have her come help me uh pick out a few pieces and, give her opinion. So basically, after Crystal tries on a few pieces, Crystal asked Malaysia if she was going to Tameka's Friendsgiving. She said she's gonna go, but it's still a little bit of a struggle. That she's having after the book signing. What happened with her, the book signing, and she said she's not a conversational person, but she is gonna let you know how she feels. Crystal says, speaking of confrontations, your friend was completely disrespectful the entire night. And she said, I don't want to feel, any type of way, like these are your feelings, and basically your friend is the one basically voicing them
Communicating them,
for
right.
you. Okay. Um, and she goes into basically, how if it was her friend, she would have shut it down a long time ago. She would have never let her friend, disrespect her like that. Now, Malaysia said that she felt like Crystal was the one that came in hot and had the energy towards her. Yeah.
Malaysia's also friends with Shad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when Shad addressed her, this is the only thing, and this is what I'm saying about I'm not liking how Malaysia is moving, because I could understand if Crystal came to you and was popping off and was like, "Oh, your friend did me wrong," but Shad was backing her up, and you have a rapport with Shad as
Mm-hmm.
well. Y'all are friends too. Y'all been friends for a long time. So even though you may just be friends with Crystal, you have Shad here backing that up.
But Shad wasn't there to tell Chris to tell Malaysia.
But do you understand? No, when they were at the car and he was like, your friend is doing the most when Crystal was getting in the car, he was trying to calm her down, like get in the car. But he was like, yeah, your friend he was telling Malaysia what was
Mm-hmm.
up. So if it was me, just me, and again, maybe because I'm not in the reality TV sector, but I would have picked up the phone if I was Malaysia, or I would text Shad and say, hey, what is your recollection of what happened? Because I
Mm-hmm.
trust you. I know you. We've been down for a long time. What did you see happen? That's what I would have did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can agree with that. So as Crystal is explaining herself, expressing herself, the person who hates being interrupted and being disrespected and being dismissed interrupts her and basically says, you know what, I'm sorry you felt disrespected by my friend. but I don't think she was meaning to be disrespectful. Crystal then says, you know what, I can't wait for you to see the playback because that's really not what happened. Okay. And then Crystal told her that, she would hope moving forward, next time she doesn't bring Dr. Princess with her. And Malay just told her, you ain't got to invite me to nothing else. Okay. Because what you're not going to do is check me and tell me who and who I can't bring. So Crystal's like, okay, well, then you just won't be on the invite list. And, they basically both say, like, okay, well, we can go our separate ways from here. And that was kind of the end of that. I said, well, that went left real quick.
Right. And I'm sorry.
That's that fire and earth. We don't get along. We don't get
Right.
along.
So we see Goshay. She goes to see Dr. K, who was referred to her by Dr. Heavenly. Okay. They get
What
into.
you think about Dr. K?
I like Dr. K.
Huh?
I like Dr. K.
You like him like what?
Like, I want to sit down and talk to Dr. K.
He looked like your type.
I we're not gonna talk about that on camera. It wouldn't be hard for me to open up. That's all I'm saying. Um, they get into the relationship. They get into the relationship with her son, and how they haven't spoken in almost 3 years. She discusses her son not feeling she was there for him, and Goshay said that she couldn't be because she had to work. She talks about her children being taken away from her when she went to prison, and then basically her having, to prove that she was a stable parent and, could take care of them and capable of caring for them. And then this is the one thing where I was like, ooh, and I'm not even like deep, deep, I'm on my spiritual journey, y'all. But when she said it, I was like, oh, but that's your experience, Goshay. And she says she didn't really feel like her kids needed anything. She provided for them, and and they had a better life than her. And I was like, oh my God, that's so selfish. No shade. But
You know what though? No, what it is
I feel like a lot of, and this is no, and I am a parent. I get it. I show up for the games and do whatever. But I can absolutely understand if I was a single mom, just being like, yo, I provided for you. I made sure I had a roof over your head. Like, what you're not gonna do
and
is
I
sit
don't
in the
I
face.
don't think Goshay is like that much older than us.
Right.
So I'm gonna say our generation, and our generation, not even just our generation, generation before us too. You want to give your kids what you didn't have.
Yeah. And if that means you gotta work to do it,
And
and
we were not all about emotions and all about feelings. And
we were
so
not.
I mean,
This
you know,
look, if y'all don't know, if y'all younger in this crowd, this was mental health was a new thing, and I can attest
so
to it.
when your kids are in a generation where they're learning about mental health and learning about
Right.
feelings and emotions and stuff, and that's not your generation, that's not something,
Yeah,
it's hard to relate.
I can absolutely understand that. So she also admits that she didn't have the best relationship with her parents and talks about being SA'd when she was a child and no one believed her. So Dr. K tells her to focus on, and I'm not gonna lie to you,
When people use this analogy,
this is what made it so sexy to me, right? When he,
people say this all the time.
no,
Are you talking about this analogy or what?
no, just that, because I think I've said it to you before. I think we actually had this conversation at my birthday dinner. Um, but he basically says that her tells her to focus on bettering herself first, and basically everything else will come to her. But the first focus is her bettering herself, getting herself together.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the mask thing. I was about to say, girl, everybody used it.
No, but I loved it because I was like, that's so true. Like, no, your kids may not come running to you when you expect them to, but it really is your growth and your journey. And I think that when your kids see the difference in you, they're going to want a relationship. I would
Mhm.
hope
Yeah.
that they would want a relationship with their mom. And I,
Mhm.
I really applauded that advice. That's why I said that's what made it so sexy, because he brought it back to her. Because in
Mhm.
her mind, I didn't do anything wrong. I did what I was supposed to do. And I think a lot of us feel like that, because but
That's
what
the
we
last show we were talking about. It's not
right,
about your perspective. At the end of the day,
right,
you hurt somebody and they feel hurt,
right.
and you
And
need to apologize for the way you made them feel, whether what you did is valid or not. You made them feel hurt.
right. And as me and Nels talked about this weekend, sometimes when you pour so much into other people, your family, and you're not pouring into yourself, you don't even see how you could be affecting, or just your lifestyle, how you raise your children, how you live in life. because you haven't dealt with your own shit. So when you can get yourself together, you're able to be a better person for your child, for your partner, for your whoever. And that's why I was like, okay, Dr. K, that's really why I was here for, because I love somebody who can stimulate my mind and my spirit and everything. And my eyes. And my eyes.
It's it's called a therapist. Therapist. He's a therapist, Trace. Just go
No,
to therapy, boo. Just go to therapy. They'll
no,
stimulate your mind.
no, he's
Find a
stimulating.
sexy one. Be like Karen. Be like
Oh,
Karen,
okay,
and
fine.
but
Okay.
and find a sexy man and everything that you need, girl.
Okay.
He's like, okay, okay.
Then we go see Malaysia. She going to see the lawyer about her child support. That's about 9 years overdue. I said on Twitter when I was live watching it that I'm happy she's finally getting what's due to her. The lawyer questions why she didn't do something sooner, and Malaysia talks about her ex being, my first love. She didn't want to hinder his dreams. So the lawyer lets her know that if they're his dreams, he'll still make them happen. And I said, you better
Period.
tell
You
us something.
better. La. You better. Ah.
Um, but basically, she needs to get what's due to her children. So the lawyer reassures her that we're gonna get this money. Maybe not by tomorrow, but we're gonna get this money. Okay. And Malaysia's ex denied, and then basically we learned Malaysia's ex denied failing to pay spousal or child support, but also asked the court to reduce his child support obligations. And I said, it's an
But my
ancient.
thing is to nothing, because if you ain't paid nothing in 9 years, I'm confused. Why
He
didn't I go after you? Huh?
He denies ever, he said he been paying it.
All right. Well, all I know is she said we're gonna get this money. We gonna get this money by tomorrow. Okay. She said we ain't trying to figure it out. We're gonna get this money by tomorrow. Okay. So then the ladies they start showing up at Tameka's house for Friendsgiving. Princess says that she's glad that she called Tameka and had a conversation because she feels like they're good. They're in a good space. Okay. It's the look. It's the look for me. What is it?
Okay.
Ah,
I
the okay.
I really, really like Princess, right? I really do. But maybe because I see or I can see a little bit of Princess in me. And when I see it come across the screen, it's like, oh my God, girl, you don't see it? Like it's kind of what did she say to Tameka when she got on the phone? Besides, oh, thank you for inviting me to your party.
We don't know because remember she had everybody move away. So
I don't think she said anything. I'm being honest with you, and just the way that, like, I didn't like how they hear me out. I don't want to be in a group of girls that just throws things out at me and I gotta deal with it and whatever and process it and whatever and try to so I understand where she was coming from. But if we're a part of a sisterhood, if you tell me something, I may not always receive it then, but it's something for me to think about. But I know it's coming from a place of love. I can understand when you're in a group of new females and all these females attacking you about how you show up or how you just kind of ignore things. That wouldn't I'm being honest with you, I would probably be Princess. Like I would feel offended, but at the same time she's actually doing it. She's actually doing it, like we're watching it. And that's why I wanted to know, did anybody else see her say anything on screen? And it's a couple scenes where I'm just like, I get that you don't want to show up on TV as a weak woman and you're not going to be out here fighting. You're not going to be ratchet and you're going to be classy. But even Nene could give a classy
I
reading.
don't think that it's because of TV, Treese. I think this is who she is. Um,
But you understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be shady because I actually really do like her. But
I
I,
like her too, but in a sense that
but she does come off a little bit like
let
she's
me
a pushover.
so I can understand where Malaysia was coming from with trying to get her to stand up for herself, but she was also kind of being too much of a mean girl. Like it was it
Yes,
was giving me
I
that,
agree
right?
with that. Malaysia was doing too
So
much.
I didn't like that, but I also didn't like that she doesn't stand up for herself. I'm not gonna lie, it aggravates me. Like it
Yeah, that's what
aggravates
I'm
me.
saying. That's what, and you know, if I'm aggravated, then I was like, oh, and I'm usually the one like, oh, devil's advocate, but I was like, no, she really don't.
But I'm not. But you know what? I'm not going. You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you though.
Because
I
in
think I would have me personally. I think I would have shown um Princess an example of what it's supposed to look like.
right,
rather
right,
rather than just expecting her to follow my advice.
right,
But I'm
right.
gonna show you how it's supposed to be done, okay? Because clearly you don't know how to stand up for yourself, and let me show you what it's supposed to look like, okay? Because whatever you were doing when the cameras were off of you and you told Malaysia to leave you, that's not what you were supposed to do. Let me show you. Let me give you an example. You take notes. Let me give you an example of what it's supposed to look like when you stand up for yourself. Then after that, if you don't do it, I
And the
can't
only
watch
reason
this
I say
anymore. I
that is
can't.
because they're like, and Tameka will keep trying you and keep trying you. And I was, that's what made me feel for her because I was like, it's true. Because you never stick up, Tameka is
Because
going to,
nobody wants to see anybody get bullied. Nobody, and
right.
I'm not saying Tamika's a bully, but those are bully mannerisms where, oh, okay, you know what I mean? She kept on backing down. So I kept on, you know what I mean? That's what she's giving. And even though they're friends, there are friends that will just walk all over you just because you let them. And that's what the dynamic seems like. So I
Yeah,
can
you hit the
understand.
nail on the head. That's what it seems like.
So I can understand why everybody else is aggravated by this, because they're like, girl, you're a boss. Like, you're cool as, like, you're nice, you're sweet, and nobody wants to see anybody get taken advantage of.
And the only reason I could say that I could really identify with Princess is because in the moment where they took her downstairs and she was like, and she went off and was like, unmic me and da da da. And it was like, kind of like what Malaysia was trying to say about Crystal. Like, you weren't mad about what actually happened. You're mad about like a plethora of things.
Mm-hmm.
And because this has been said to her so many times, I was like, I can absolutely see me doing that. I can absolutely see me like harboring everybody telling me something. And then eventually I can explode. And I don't want you to tell me because I've heard y'all. You know what I mean? Like, so I understood, I could identify with where she was coming from. But I was like, but the point is, the reason why you feel that way is because you feel like you need to stand on business and you know you're not.
Because you're still doing it. You
Right.
you haven't changed anything, and it sucks because even though their delivery is not always great, they're still coming from a loving place. They're still wanting you to be able to stand up for yourself, and they don't want to see you come off looking like this.
What they're trying
So
to tell you, Princess, I'm gonna hit a really B. Princess, they don't want you to come off like Robin. Don't become Tamika's Robin.
Robin finally,
But that's what
finally.
I'm saying. But you see how many years that took for her to get up
Mhm,
from under Giselle? That's what I'm saying.
mhm.
They don't want you to, and because you're in this field, in this production, you know better. So I would hope. That's why I said I love Princess. I do. But I could see it, and I was like, oh, you're about to become a Robin, and you about to co-sign with whatever Tamika say, and do it and ride for her. And this, I feel like this is what this show is about to become.
Yeah. So when Malaysia arrived, she completely ignored Crystal. Crystal said that she ain't about to let her ruffle her feathers. She ain't even got none to ruffle. Okay. Malaysia said that she ain't mad at Crystal. She just doesn't want to have any heavy conversations. She just wants to keep it cute. Okay. Now the much anticipated Gaucher finally arrives. Tameka calls the ladies to the table to have a conversation with them before everyone gets there, and says, there's been a lot of bickering going on. And she basically lets the ladies know that, they can't be acting up in public. Gaucher said she did not come here to get chastised by her auntie.
I see. Okay.
Tameka said she's definitely an auntie. Okay. She said, don't let the smooth taste fool you. This is what she does. Now, Malaysia said that she's trying to get to know their hearts. Okay. She doesn't really care about anything else that they got going on and mentions book signing. At this point, Tameka gets up and walks away from the table, talking about,
And she
she's
posted,
listening. She's like, I'm listening, but I just got to get some coasters. Now, Malaysia told her when someone is speaking and she does things like this, it can be viewed as disrespectful and dismissive. What?
I don't know if when I do it, it seems disrespectful or dismissive, but I have definitely got up in the middle of the conversation to get something, do something. But I'll tell you, I'm still listening. I'm just going to get this. I absolutely had. That's why I was like, it may really make me.
Uh,
I'm not disrespectful about it. Like,
I don't think so. But also keep in mind that Tameka has a history of being dismissive.
right.
I mean, she literally dis has literally said like she's dismissed, like I'm dismissing you. So this one hit different, okay? So Tameka basically said that that's something she needs to work on, but she's highly perceptive. So if it takes too long for them to say it, basically she's gonna get bored. So, what that ain't dismissive at all, okay? Then she basically switched up and said, she's too old to be changing. Ma'am, I thought you just said you was gonna work on it. What just happened? Okay. Now everybody feels like, she's being typical Tameka, dismissive. Gaucher wants to address her issue and brings up, everything that happened at the park. And how Tameka walked off. When Tameka walked off, she mentioned to Tameka that she's single, and you're going to be married to your house. Gaucher is basically saying that, her Tameka's response was, at least it's not a woman. That's not what she said, but I guess she was trying to sum it up. So Tameka said, let's air it out because it's true. Let me tell you something. Tameka is the villain, but I like that she doesn't mind being the villain. And she stands on it. I
She's
can't be mad. Like, she's not back. She's not like, yeah, I ain't say that. That I ain't mean it that way. Yeah, I said it and it's true. Okay. What she said was she said, all I'm saying is I'm single and I will be until Armageddon comes before I marry a woman.
she said the
So
29th.
she doubled down. She doubled down on that shit. And let me tell you something. I can't be mad. I can't be mad because she said I said what I said. F who don't like it. That's
Right.
what it was given. Okay. Gaucher says that, it doesn't bother her that, she's not attracted to women. It's not that. Okay. It's the fact that they were in the middle of a heated conversation and the fact that Tameka said it, she knows it was meant to be an insult.
Yeah, it felt like a dig.
Absolutely. And then Tameka, she gets up. She's ready to check on her guest. Okay. She ain't worried about this conversation no more. Malaysia and Gaucher have a sidebar conversation about how Tameka was telling her, to spit it out, spit it out, spit it out when she was trying to express herself. And Malaysia is telling her that, she needs to stick up for herself.
You mean princess?
No, Malaysia was
You said
telling her.
Malaysian Gaucher.
Well, she was talking to Gaucher.
Right. She was telling her about the situation, but
Yeah.
she was talking about princess.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, Malaysia was telling Princess that she needs to stick up for herself. Um, so Malaysia basically told her, that she's around a whole bunch of alpha women. They're headstrong, and sometimes they can be a little brutal with their, with their approach. And sometimes, um, it's like it becomes a second nature when, they know that they're the weak, that somebody's the weakest link. Wrong road.
Right.
Wrong road. Let me tell you something. I would have loved to see Princess stand up for herself in this moment.
Mm-hmm. To Malaysia, like,
To
which you're
Malaysia.
never, I'm never nobody's weakest link.
Exactly. Like say something.
Right.
So I'm not gonna lie. Like when she does it, it does kind of aggravate me. And not saying that Malaysia was right in what she said, but I can understand why not just Malaysia, but any of the girls. It's aggravating because I can't fight your battles. At the end of the day, you're a grown woman. You are supposed to stand up for yourself. But Like, damn, can you do it at some point?
Well,
Please, can you show us? Um, so Gaucher basically says, not Gaucher, I'm sorry, Princess says that she respects Malaysia, but anyone telling a boss like her who has accomplished so many things that they may appear weak or like a weak link is ridiculous. That just means that you know how to make boss moves.
yeah.
That doesn't prove that you're not the weakest link. So then all the ladies agree with Malaysia and basically, tell her she needs to stand on business. Okay, do what you got to do. Okay.
Let me get
So
into
then
it.
Tameka, she basically lets the ladies know that she's filming a live podcast and they're going to be her studio audience. Gosari was not feeling it. Okay. She said, I did not sign up for this. That's what's not going to happen. Okay. Malaysia used her social anxiety as an excuse to go. She's like, I'm out of here. Too many people, too much energies. I'm out of here. Okay. Crystal met Malaysia at the door. Malaysia let her know that, she actually wanted to have a conversation with her after everything happened in the boutique because she really processed everything when she got back to the car. She said that she understood where she was coming from her perspective, and she doesn't really think that it was about her or even Dr. Princess. She's just tired of people talking about her vagina.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was valid there. And guess what,
Right.
Dr. Princess, that's exactly what she did. Now they both agreed that, they're working on their anger issues, but girl, we're good. We're good for now.
I was gonna say I feel like it's a fake goodness, but that's just what I.
Earth and fire don't go together. Yes, but you know what's you know what all these elements don't realize? All these elements don't realize they're all in earth.
Mm.
Period. Okay. Period. They're all in earth. All right. I'm just throwing that on out there. Okay. We are Mother Earth. All right. So get it together, Malaysia. Then basically all the rest of the ladies, they decided that, they ain't sticking around for this either. They about to cut out too, because we ain't signed up for no podcast. I ain't here for this. Gaucher gets on Princess for not telling Tameka that she wasn't staying. And Princess basically, you know what? I'm not dealing with this. Unmic me, get me the hell up out of here. You're doing too
She
much.
feels away.
She feels away, okay? Princess told Gaucher, she told her, don't make things like this a thing. I'm not the one that made it a thing. But now that it is a thing,
No, but
I'm
I
gonna point
think
it out to you.
you know what's so crazy. And I didn't think about it till you said it. But even when Malaysia said it to her, and now that Princess is saying it to her, and I think even Crystal said a little something, but did it in a very nice way, like
Mm-hmm.
respectful way. I think they're trying to tell her, "Bitch, if you want to be on the next season of the show, you need to step up." Because everybody's giving something. And basically, that's what they're saying. Like, yeah, you might be producer princess, but right now you're not producing.
Or that's all from behind the scenes,
Right.
not on camera. Basically, she said she doesn't want anybody to misrepresent who she is. Now, go Shay basically told a girl it was a joke. It really wasn't. You lied. But she's like, I don't even know how to play with you no more. And Princess says, that they're good, but she really does have to go. Then a couple hours later, the ladies get a text from Tameka going in on them about how they were talking mess about her party and how they were calling the ghetto. Apparently, it was just really a miscommunication because the assistant overheard wrong. Princess said that she wanted to take a to-go plate and she was asking if the ladies thought that it was ghetto. So
Then we see Malaysia get Goshe and Tamika together in hopes that they can stop bickering. Tamika arrives and Malaysia tells them she wants to end their fighting. She wants peace, okay?
not war.
What you said, not war. She asked if they like each other. Goshe, and I'm not gonna lie, I think Goshe lied in this moment. Goshe says she likes Tamika, and Tamika says she's not sure, and I can respect Tamika for being honest. Tamika
That's what
says
I'm saying. She stands on what she feels and what she says. I
right.
can't be mad.
She
She
says she's
don't
not sure
backtrack.
whether she likes Goshe because of her petty and intense energy. Goshe feels that she's having a hard time trying to establish a genuine friendship because Tamika really won't open up. Tamika says she tried to be nice and says she didn't bring up the fact that her shrimp and grits were cold. I said, damn. Then Goshay clears up the whole ghetto comment that was made and tells Tameka whoever told her that needs to bring it there. Tameka says there were two people that heard her, and I guess one was inside the closet, which sounded even crazier. Tameka says when they roll it back, they'll see it again. Me and Nels talked about this off camera. They're breaking fourth walls. Goshay doesn't understand why Tameka is coming for her and says she didn't sleep with her man. She's not the bridesmaid. And Malaysia points out that the conversation is going nowhere and asks if they can start over and not insult each other. So Goshay brings up how she's dismissive and waits to send text messages versus saying what she needs to say in the moment. I'm not gonna lie. If I feel a way about you, I might not say it in that moment, but trust and believe you're gonna get a book later that
No, see, that's giving princess energy.
night. But anyway, in confessional, Tameka says she needs basically she thinks that Goshay needs some D, so she's not so mad all the time. Um
I felt like that was disrespectful.
I think it was super disrespectful. Then they show a playback of Goshay making a fuss about having to take her shoes off at the door, and this was a problem for Tameka. Goshay and Malaysia want Tameka to apologize for the text, and then Malaysia points out how Tameka likes to get her point across and then shut everyone else down so they can never get out what they need to say. Um, while she's sitting good because she said what she needed to say. She said, "I said what I said." And that was, I mean, that they pretty much ended the episode at that, but
And she never apologized.
she
She
never
said we need to
apologized.
agree to disagree.
And yeah, I don't think there'll be any resolution because maybe once she sees a playback, but I mean, we've seen Tameka before. And one thing I can say that I feel like the two people that are probably being three, Crystal's being who she is, uh, Princess I think is being who she is, and I definitely think Tameka is being who we've known her to be.
Hmm.
It's really the only and I don't know much about Ghost Shade and whatever, but it does she does come off a little bit like a pot stirrer, and I never thought I would ever see a day where I was defending Tameka, but I'm not saying she always right. When she wrong, she wrong. She is dismissive, but the way that they come at her, it does make it kind of easy to take up for Tameka because it's like, no, that don't make no sense, or you just being nosy and you don't need to know that, or I don't know. That's just my opinion. So if you haven't already, please drop down in the comments. Let us know what you think, and please make sure that y'all hit that like button.
Make sure you comment
Make sure you subscribe.
and hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms, the TikTok, the Twitter, the Facebook, and the IG. And yeah, y'all, we will catch you next week for another recap of The Bold and the Bougie. I think it'll be episode 5. We'll see where we're going because I'm not really sure. I might want to get off the roller coaster. Anyway, but I love y'all. Thank y'all. Have a good night.